Hi everyone, is $20 okay? Here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Banks album, The Altar. California singer-songwriter Jillian Banks, aka Banks, coming through with her sophomore full-length album right here following up her breakout debut record, which came out a few years ago, Goddess. An album where I didn't really get the hype behind it. A lot of very super moody, low-key songs on this album that were so quiet and faint that very few of them actually left an impression on me. And with this new record over here, I was just hoping for some stronger, bolder, more exciting songs, more highlights. And it seemed like I was going to get that. I mean, the song Gemini Feed, I think, is one of Banks' best singles, best tracks to date. I love the song Smooth, Danceable Groove. I love the sharp vocal melody on the hook. Some of the weird chorus vocal pitch down manipulations on the verses are pretty decent. They kind of remind me of The Knife and Fever Ray, but way less adventurous and weird. My issue with that, though, is that Banks, while it does sound like she's trying to add a little texture here, she doesn't have the most distinct voice as it is, so some of these effects only go to mask her voice further and make it difficult to connect with what she's doing vocal performance-wise. Plus, she's not always giving a passionate vocal performance on these songs. She tends to play it kind of low-key, which I would chalk it up to just being her style, but at this point on her sophomore record, it's almost more like a shortcoming or just like a lack of personality, which I think she tries to make up for with this album's focus, never-ending focus, on stories of heartbreak, love, sex, and betrayal. There are a few exceptions where Banks does give an exceptionally passionate vocal performance, I guess exceptional by her standards. The song Mind Games, for example, or the acoustic track Mother Earth, which has some pretty great string sections worked into it. But the rest of the vocals on this album are pretty mild, as is the production, again, which continues to sound super skeletal, super simple, colorless, way too plain. It's not as piano-driven as a lot of the songs were on the last album, but it's really no more fun to listen to. However, she does manage to pen a couple of her best tracks, including Gemini Feed, and also the song This Is Not About Us, which has my favorite groove on the album, actually some punchy rhythms coming through on this one. I can't help but want to move to this track. I love the vocals on the hook here. This is not about us. The bass line that slides right in after that is really sharp, fantastic. And the song Trainwreck, I think, is the closest Banks has ever come to trying to come through with like a top 40 pop hit. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good song, but it is clear that she's trying to emulate some pop diva that she might have had in mind. However, she doesn't really carve out a niche for herself within this sound. She just kind of sounds like a mere emulation that pales in comparison to a more popular artist. The rest of the record isn't really much bolder than Banks's last album, honestly. I noticed that she's trying to get a little edgier with some of the lyrics on this thing, like on the song A Weaker Girl or I Fuck With Myself, where she takes on a kind of moody, alternative R&B flavor that reminds me a little bit of FKA Twigs, but way less adventurous and odd. On the song Lovesick, this track features all of these very subtle, easygoing grooves, very slow keyboards, vocals that are so lifeless, it just makes my ears glaze over. It kind of reminds me of the XX a little bit, which I know there are a lot of fans of that group, but they've never sort of translated for me. And I'm getting a similar emotional vibe from this record as well. Maybe that could be a recommendation for somebody who's a huge XX fan, but for me, what I'm hearing just sounds like all style and no substance, no soul, especially when you consider all of the sexual cliches laced throughout the lyrics in the song too. And on the song To the Hills, another single from this record, just total snoozer. In a nutshell, for me, this album isn't really bold enough to be exciting. It's not experimental enough to be alternative, which is a tag that a lot of people throw onto it. And it's not really emotionally potent enough to be moving. It's pleasant while it's on, but not much else. It's kind of like the perfect soundtrack to boring sex. And I don't really have much more to say about it than that. I'm feeling a strong 4 to a light 5 on this thing. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Please subscribe And please don't cry if you hate my thoughts on this record, though you can leave a comment. Click on some stuff that's next to my head, another video, the website, again, the subscription button, and that's it, guys. Banks, the altar, forever.